these people can ever talk about, because they're trying to take away attention from Trump's disastrous econ policy,
there was a major
from the
scandal
utter failures
Biden,
that he's
like,
running into over and over and over again with all of the courts, with the insane arguments that they're putting in front of the Supreme Court, trying to get rid of things like birthright citizenship. But for some reason, we're talking about Biden again. Also, it's no surprise that conservatives are once again, there is no scandal. There is no evidence of any scandal whatsoever. It's just.
In this video, Dave Rubin, Michael Knowles, and Destiny join the panel on Piers Morgan Uncensored. David Rubin and Michael Knowles verbally abused Destiny over his excuses for Biden's health cover-up. With that, let's watch Michael Knowles and Dave Rubin wreck everyone's favorite cuck, Destiny.
Lately, but it's always fun to be on the show. As long as we're doing medical diagnoses here, I mean, I think we just saw a prime example of a symptom of Trump derangement syndrome. When someone is asked a question about what's wrong with Joe Biden's cognitive ability and now his metastatic cancer, we start talking about Donald Trump. So that's one issue. As to everything else you said, Knowles absolutely hit it on the head. There is an unbelievable layer of conspiracies here, because either we are to believe that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, the 82-year-old president, former president of the United States, that his doctor was completely incompetent at every level, meaning he didn't catch what is now very, very advanced, very easy to catch prostate cancer. As you said, you're 60 years old. You've had these PSA tests. Yeah. I checked on Grok this morning. Grok recommends that men usually at about 45 years old. And that's what ChatGPT says as well. And you can talk to virtually any doctor that says that. Yeah, see, this is the kind of obfuscation that you guys do with everything. We all know that men somewhere in their 40s and 50s. Up with white genocide? We all know that men in their 40s and 50s should be getting this test annually. So either his doctor was completely negligent and hid that, but it's not just that, because he was also either completely negligent or a buffoon or a criminal when it came to what was going on with Joe Biden cognitively. Why is it, Piers? I'm not from the future. I don't have a DeLorean or a flux capacitor or anything else. Why is it that in 2019, I was doing videos, you can find them online, of Joe Biden's cognitive ability? It's because everyone could see it right in front of our face, and they told us not to see. So there's multiple layers of conspiracy here. And as it pertains to Jake Tapper, and Alex Thompson is the guy that I guess co-wrote the book, and the poor guy, he's going into all these interviews with Jake, and he's just like, ooh, I hope they don't ask me a question. It's embarrassing, because the scandal is not just that doctor.
Dave's right with what he said to start off this segment. Literally all the left has done for years and years now is deflect any question, not really answer it, and then start talking about Trump. It's actually getting a little, I mean, it's been old for a long time, but it's tiresome now. It's like, come on, man, just have a single thought for yourself. You know, I've noticed as this Jake Tapper book has come out, and more information keeps coming out about how widespread and how deep the cover-up were with Biden's cognitive decline as well as his overall health. You know, in all of the various clips I watched throughout the day from different news sources, it's really funny to watch the posture and the demeanor of left-wing media hacks that were getting angry if anyone talked about Biden's cognitive decline, denying it, never reporting on it unless maybe to debunk it. But the demeanor I'm talking about and the posture is that of shock and surprise, and we must get to the bottom of this. I mean, these people are without scruples. How can you sit there and know you've lied and lied and lied and then pretend like you're surprised about the thing you were covering up for? It's ridiculous. Anyway, back to the video.
She's a doctor, right? Dr. Jill Biden, and the insiders were hiding this. And what did Biden even know what he had or anything else? The scandal is that the media ran in cahoots with the Democrat machine or the Biden machine or whatever you want to call it. So there's multiple layers of a medical scandal, because there's more than one issues there, but there's multiple layers of, I would say, a cultural scandal, which pertains to how the White House released information and how the media used that information or hid that information.
I agree.
David, were those the videos that Russia paid you to make, or was that your original independent thinking?
Okay, let me do this, because you do this every time I'm on the show. You do know that the Department of Justice closed the case, and you do know that I'm talking about it right now, so that has nothing to do with me. But
and I would add a third. I would add a third. Do you know? I don't give a fuck. So let's just move back to the debate. Destiny.
So you weren't paid by Russia? Okay.
Look, if you want to ask him on your own show and ask him those questions again and again and again, go and do it on your own show, would you? Let me bring in Destiny. Destiny.
Fair enough.
Destiny, I do think this matters. Do you?
I'm going to be honest. I haven't followed the news recently, and I lose track of this sometimes. Right now, who's the president? Is it Trump or is it Biden? Because every single day I turn the news on, Trump is talking about Biden, the conservatives are talking about Biden, everybody is talking about Biden. It feels like that is the only thing that these people can ever talk about because they're trying to take away attention from Trump's disastrous econ policy,
there was a major
from the
scandal
utter
involving
failures
Biden,
that he's
like 3
running
days
into
ago.
over and over and over again with all of the courts, with the insane arguments that they're putting in front of the Supreme Court, trying to get rid of things like birthright citizenship. But for some reason, we're talking about Biden again. Also, it's no
Because there was a
surprise
major
that conservatives
scandal.
are once again, there is no scandal. There is no evidence of any scandal whatsoever. It's just more conservatives demonstrating
scandal-
again that they know
would
nothing
you
about
like me to
medicine.
explain
There's no evidence of a
No,
scandal.
you don't need to explain anything
The
while
man
I'm giving
was
it.
not
While I'm giving my
competent
answer
to
to
be
Pierre's
president
question.
of the United
You say
States.
the man wasn't competent to be president. I'm curious. Can you show me a single time when Joe Biden sat down and had EOs brought to him and explained to him that he'd never seen before, like we see Trump sign on an almost daily basis? One example of
Well,
that.
they didn't bring them to Joe Biden because an auto
Exactly.
pen
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
You have
did
no
it.
examples of that. No, you have
Yeah,
no
there
examples
actually
of that.
was
Donald
reporting
Trump
that
is
he didn't
worse.
know
That
it was any
Donald Trump
EOs
is
he was
worse. That's great, but you can see videos of Biden explaining
Destiny, let me
what's
ask
in
you a
the
question.
EOs.
Why do you take Joe Biden because he was
Hold on, let me
ruling on
finish.
it?
Let me finish my answer. For all of these people that are so concerned about Biden's health, everybody got so offended when Elon Musk was asked about his ketamine abuse. So they said we had no right into the minds, the drug use, or the medical records of people that might be
Elon Musk
involved
isn't
in
the president.
major parts of the government. That he was involved in dismantling huge parts of the government. He was the president's right-hand man. Just right there, we just heard another pivot, another abdication of responsibility. The reality is conservatives know nothing about medicine. All of you guys on here are saying it's totally common to test for prostate cancer past 50. It's not. Past 70, it's not recommended. Believe it or not, and I know in the movies and in the TV shows, it seems like you can test for every single thing at every point in time. You can't test for every single thing at every point in time. You don't do that because you get a lot of false
prostate
positives.
cancer-
He's the president of the
How long
United
does that
States.
PSA test take you? When you do that PSA test annually,
It doesn't
Piers,
matter.
how long does
Over
that
the
take
age
you?
of
Is that a
seven-
big
over the
problem
age
for
It
the
of
doctor?
literally
doctor.
takes.
You
It
can-
takes
listen,
a
hey, where's
literally.
This is a perfect time to pause because Destiny always talks down to other panel members. He just said conservatives know nothing about medicine. I personally believe that Destiny reads and tries to dig into background information to understand topics the best that he can. And I hate to say this, but while I think he's wrong about everything and I think he's a jackass, I can acknowledge he's a smart guy. I think he can retain information well. But saying that the right wing doesn't know medicine, he's making it sound like because he's read some studies related to topics that he's researching at that time. You don't know anything about medicine either. You're acting like you went to med school. Now, the reason I said this was a perfect time to pause is my father is very, very fortunate that his doctor was still running a PSA at least annually after he was 70 years old. My dad's in his late 70s now, and in his very early 70s, his PSA test that was given to him, Destiny, you idiot. And of course, it's the president. You're going to double check everything, and you're going to do a lot more tests than the average American, you idiot. Anyway, my father's doctor found an issue with my dad's prostate based on the results of the PSA that he ran, again, after 70, Destiny. And my dad's good now, but he caught it early enough because of that. So I don't know where Destiny's getting this. And what I just said is just an anecdote, but it's pretty crazy that he says all this. And I happen to have a story that just does not abide by what he's saying this so-called protocol is. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
Where's
Takes
the
3
fact checker?
minutes.
Over the age of 70, you do not test men for prostate cancer. It's just not recommended. You can't test for
you test
every
It
single
is
disease.
if you're the
Usually had
president of the
cancer.
United States and you've
So the
already had a
president is somehow
test in
exempted from
2014.
ordinary human conditions? No, of course not. You can't test for every single disease at every single point of your life. Unfortunately, you just can't do that.
Okay, Michael, let me bring you back in here. I think, look, it's the conversation's been very revealing. But Jar hat on massive distraction technique and Destiny basically saying old people shouldn't have tests that might save their lives.
Just to be clear, go to
interesting
Google,
arguments.
look up, when do you test for prostate cancer? You don't test every single. You can Google it right now. Put it on the program. Everybody can type it in the
A
program.
PSA
You
test.
don't test prostate cancer
Are you
for
arguing
PSA
that they
test literally
shouldn't have
takes 10
tested
seconds.
Joe
You
Biden,
literally
who
have
now
an
has
injury.
metastatic,
You literally have a blood
metastatic
test.
cancer
It's
in
a
his
simple.
bones? Are you arguing they shouldn't have tested
It's a
him?
blood test. I bet the president of the United States probably has a weekly blood test. Probably. I'm guessing.
What do you think a blood test is? Do you think you can test for every single possible thing in your blood?
It
Every
is
single
so
possible
easy
ailment,
to
every
test for
single possible-
PSA. Your PSA
Then why do they
literally is
recommend
one
the screening
thing.
for it?
It's easy.
Wow. I think Destiny's getting worse at this over time. That was a really, really bad debate performance and really, really poor points that he was trying to drive home. But we want to hear from you. What did you guys think about this debate between Destiny, Dave Rubin, and Michael Knowles on Piers Morgan Uncensored? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.